Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Fatima Waziri Aziz as Director General of the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. This is sequel to a recommendation of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, who expressed the urgent need for the ministry to intensify on the existing capacity in NAPTIP to achieve its key result areas as identified. A former head of the Department of Public Law at the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, Waziri Aziz is a women's rights advocate, a campaigner against domestic and sexual-based violence, and an expert in the rule of law. Similarly, President Buhari has approved the appointments of new chief executives for some agencies in the Ministry of Education. A statement by Director of Press in the Ministry of Education indicates that Professor Akpama Simon Ibo has been appointed as Executive Secretary, National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adults and Non-Formal Education, while Professor Chinwe Veronica Anunobi is the Director and Chief Executive Officer, National Library. Professor Musa Garba May Tafsir is the Director and Chief Executive Officer, National Teachers Institute. The three appointments are with effect from 2nd of September 2021 and for an initial tenure of 5 years. The President also approved the reappointment of Professor Josiah Olusegun Ajiboye as the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, for a second and final tenure of 5 years, effective from 1st of August 2021. Similarly, Professor Bashir Usman has been reappointed as the Executive Secretary, National Commission for Nomadic Education, also for a second and final tenure of 5 years. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, General Mohammed Buba Marwa, on his 68th birthday. The President congratulates the former military Governor of Old Borno State and Military Administrator of Lagos State on the auspicious occasion, joining members of All Progressives Congress APC to rejoice with the public servant who continues to distinguish himself in leadership. President Buhari commended General Marwa for the aggressive war against drug and illicit substance. The President affirms that the track record of the former Chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee for the Elimination of Drug Abuse, and Ambassador to South Africa and Kingdoms of Lesotho and Swaziland has been inspiring, reflecting his passion, training, and experience both local and international. You're still watching Nationwide. Let's join Ruth in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Ruth.
Hello, Lydia. Literacy is a powerful tool for the eradication of poverty, and as COVID-19 continues to threaten the global education system, the United Nations is focused on addressing drawbacks in the sector, which is why the theme of this year's International Literacy Day is Literacy for Human-Centered Recovery, Narrowing the Digital Divide. Henginu John Adams tells us more.
Teaching and learning were disrupted globally.
They came about with the idea.
Schools had to shut down as the virus spreads aggressively. The shutdown invariably altered academic calendars. Statistically, the United Nations records show that at the initial phase of the global health crisis, closure of schools affected more than 62% of students across the world. This is a major setback to the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is centered around ensuring that all young people achieve literacy.
Learning became very difficult, except for in few instances, very few indeed compared to the multitude of people who could not access educational facilities.
Though it came as a surprise, some families utilized the lockdown as a period to engage children academically at home. Some schools resorted to the use of technology to interface with students. With physical classes now back, this year's International Literacy Day celebration focuses on human-centered recovery from the negative effects of the virus on education. Experts believe that starting from the basic level and use of technology will help in achieving the desired results.
There are some states up to this moment that are still far behind in recovering from the effects and the impact of the pandemic on the education of the states.
Primary, secondary institution is where most people are made. If you are going to be able to speak well, it will be made while you are in primary and secondary.
Ensuring a literate world is important to global leaders. That is why the United Nations is promoting universal access to quality education and learning opportunities. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Now away from education, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has deployed more effective and sophisticated means to uncover the various dubious strategies adopted by drug offenders to traffic hard and illicit substances. Chairman of the agency, Buba Marwa, was speaking at a media parley in Lagos, where he gave an update on the seizure of amphetamine intercepted at the Apapa port in Lagos. Abolade Salami has the report.
The spate of illicit drug abuse and trafficking in a long time has been on the increase, with its negative effect on abusers and national security. While the NDLEA is intensifying efforts at curtailing the menace, illicit drug users are yet to pay attention to sensitization and series of enlightenment workshops organized to educate abusers on dangers associated with drug abuse. Recently, the agency, in its proactive approach, beamed its searchlight on a container laden with 451,807 tablets of drugs suspected to be amphetamine, Captagon, weighing 74.119 kilograms, concealed in a rotor coil worth 5.8 billion naira.
And you can imagine the havoc that this will cause had this passed through to the recipients in Nigeria. I think the message must be clear now that the NDLEA has zero tolerance for the production of drugs, trafficking of it, and of course drug abuse.
Further investigation conducted on the hard drug revealed that this is the first time this drug is being brought into any African country in the south of the Sahara.
One of the most dangerous, obnoxious, one of the worst pills, stimulant pills, called Captagon, which you can see there.
The agency says Captagon, a dangerous drug, is being abused by offenders in troubled Middle East and has wreaked havoc across Europe. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Maiduguri is our next point of call, and Abubakar is standing by, but that will be after our first break. Do stay on.
Federal government has commenced second phase of COVID-19 vaccination. If you are 18 years and above and unvaccinated, register at www.nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. Visit the nearest vaccination site to receive COVID-19 vaccine. If you received first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine before 8th July 2021, second dose commences 23rd August and closes 5th September 2021. All vaccines are free and certified safe by WHO and NAFDAC. At the vaccination site, you can check blood pressure and know your diabetes risk status. Children aged 0 to 23 months will receive childhood vaccines and screen for malnutrition. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700 220 1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Firstly, safety. I will ensure that my family members and loved ones are safe.
I will try as much as possible not to get involved.
We should call the nearest police station.
I will alert my family, my friends, my neighbors in that vicinity that this is what is happening.
Who wins the star prize of 1 million naira in the ongoing Peace Nigeria Challenge, powered by Ask Nigeria in partnership with National Council for Arts and Culture, NCAC, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, and Star Times. Unity Challenge Nigeria, stronger together.
Sitting on the wrong end of the table, Arsenal welcome fellow strugglers Norwich City to the Emirates. Will the Gunners finally get their first Premier League points or goal? This Saturday, it's Arsenal versus Norwich City on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
For staying with us on Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority up to this moment, and this is Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. Let's begin with health matters. As part of efforts to further contain the spread of cholera outbreak in the state, Borno State government has constituted a 13-man committee for the control of the disease. Yagum Subukar reports that the inauguration of the committee became necessary as Borno State has recorded 559 suspected cases of cholera with 43 deaths so far.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control announced over 60,000 cases of cholera, including a case fatality rate of 3.3% reported from 23 states and the Federal Capital Territory as at 2nd September this year. This development necessitated the need for proactive measures by Borno State government to contain further spread of the disease, hence the inauguration of a high-powered committee for the control of cholera under the chairmanship of Chief of Staff to Borno State Governor, Professor Isa Marti Hussaini, with Commissioner of Health Juliana Bitrus as Secretary of the committee. Inaugurating members of the committee, Borno State Deputy Governor Umar directed all rapid response teams for disease surveillance in affected local government areas to ensure timely response of all suspected cases.
The constitution of the committee became rather necessary in view of the government's commitment to return and settle all internally displaced persons at their various communities.
Chairman of the committee, Professor Isa Marti Hussaini, assured to contain further spread and recommend preventive measures.
We have to construct more latrines, especially in IDP camps and other places, and also we should ask people, or at least sensitize people, not to go and defecate in the rivers and where you have flowing water.
The terms of reference of the committee is to determine level of preparedness for the control of the outbreak and ascertain the causes of cholera, among other things. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Borno State government has distributed canoes to areas prone to flooding as the rains intensify to enable the residents carry on with their socio-economic activities in the areas affected. Now, this followed the unfortunate incident that occurred last month when 7 people died as a boat capsized due to overload in Shani local government area of the state. Murjana Hassan completes the story.
Shani local government area of Borno State is situated in southern part of the state, an agrarian community known for the production of a variety of crops such as maize, soybeans and rice among others, making the area popular in such business activities. River Howell and Gongola cross through the area, hence the need for canoe as means of transportation. Worried by the tragedy that befell Shani, Borno State government distributed canoes to ease transportation and boost socio-economic activities of the rural area. While assuring the beneficiaries of government's determination towards developing the area, the council chairman called on the community to desist from crossing the river at night and overloading the canoes.
Ruwa ya kashe mana gonake ko ta ina. Wallahi yanzu haka muna tan shirye-shiryen ya zamu tunkari noman rani. Domin na damuna wani ya riga ya sallamar da gona.
The people of the area are appreciative of the council's efforts. In Maiduguri, Murjana Hassan, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories for now from Maiduguri. It's now time to return to Lydia in Abuja for the next set of reports on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks. The Nigerian Television Authority is strengthening partnership with the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria as part of measures to encouraging the girl-child enrollment in engineering sciences disciplines. This is coming when the national leadership of the association fraternized with the NTA ahead of its national symposium and award for scholarship for girls in science. The body is also advocating more female representation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics courses and projects in the engineering field to improve women's participation in economic development.
History to be a female engineer, because there are many companies, especially multinationals, who are forward-looking, who are deliberately seeking to increase the number of women engineers in their employ. So we have come a long way.
In NTA, all the female engineers, they are living up to expectation. They are doing well, and many of them have a lot of managerial and higher position.
The partnership is in line with NTA's commitment in promoting girl education and social well-being in the society. Economic activities in Jos North and other parts of the metropolis have received a boost following the gradual return of peace and relaxation of curfew by the state government. Zinred Digmum has details.
The curfew in Jos North and ban on tricycles affected socio-economic activities in the last few weeks in Jos Metropolis, following the crisis that led to destruction of lives and property. The state government lifts the curfew and ban on the tricycle after a review of the security situation. A visit to major streets in Jos Metropolis indicates that normalcy is gradually returning to the state, with economic activities picking up gradually as opposed to a few weeks ago. This follows the review of curfew from 10 o'clock in the night to 6 o'clock in the morning and the lift of ban on tricycles by the state government.
Now that they've lifted the curfew, I believe that now the markets will improve more.
At least now customers, they are entering the market. At least today is more better than the other days for us.
It's a worker development because it will reduce the hardship on the masses.
Some tricycle operators in the metropolis expressed readiness to collaborate with relevant authorities to ensure that their members are registered for easy identification.
We are going to make sure that every rider must be law-abiding.
We should be seen to revert to our status of the home of peace and tourism by coming together, by doing the needful. The needful in this case, it means that we should be seen to obey laws. We should not take the laws into our hands.
The state government is working on legislations and enforcement modules for enhancing security and availability of public transportation. In Jos, Zenred Dingmoon, NTA News.
We now join Larry in Ibadan for more reports on Nationwide. Larry, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Ibadan. The All Progressives Congress in Oyo State says inadequacies noted in the local government congress in the state last Saturday are being addressed to make the party stronger in the state. This was the concession of opinions of some of party leaders in the state. Lanre Bilei completes the report.
The local government congress in Oyo State had witnessed large turnout of enthusiastic supporters who thronged various venues to participate in the exercise. At most of the venues, the accreditation and other processes were done by the officials to the delight of most members. Part of the challenges include the allegation of parallel congress. A chieftain of the party who took part in the exercise at O2 Itesiwaju local government area, Professor Adeolu Akonde, and the publicity secretary, Dr. Olatunde Abdulaziz, react.
The preference of the national secretariat of the party, the national leadership of the party, is that the leadership at all levels should be recruited through consensus means by which members of the party will come together and agree on a common list of executives to govern the affairs of the party. We achieve this in most of the local governments in Oyo State.
After every Congress, there must be reconciliation. Of course,
we have the mechanism with which we do that.
On the total assessment of the exercise in the state,
the turnout indicated that members of the party are still loyal to their party.
the various results of the local government congress in the state have been collated and treated accordingly in Ibadan. Larry.
The National Directorate of Employment, NDE, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Oyo State government. Correspondent Ayomiku Ajibola reports that the MOU is aimed at fighting mass unemployment through direct intervention in skills training and employment programs for youth employability.
All over the world, unemployment is a serious problem that hinders the normal life of a society. This issue constantly crops up and is eliminated by applying various mitigating strategies. To cope with this, the federal government established the National Directorate of Employment, NDE. 28-years-old Samuel Wisdom from Akwa Ibom and 35-years-old Sheriff Adetunji from Oyo State are both beneficiaries of the directorate training currently ongoing in Ibadan.
I don't think I need a job again because I'm already employed, I'm self-employed.
If this kind of a program is really going on, it will help graduates.
To strengthen the mandate of NDE, the directorate signed a memorandum of understanding with the Oyo State government for collaboration in areas of skills training and other empowerment initiatives.
It is my conviction that the partnership will be a shining example for other state governments across the Federation.
It is important to note that we live in a rapidly changing global economy which demands new ideas and skills to remain competitive.
The key player said the task for meeting the legitimate desire of youth for decent jobs requires a synergy of collaborative initiative among relevant stakeholders. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's join Mina in Enugu for more reports after this break.
Since coming into office in 2015, the Buhari administration has recorded unprecedented achievements in all sectors, especially in the provision of infrastructure, which is the key to economic growth. Never in the history of this country has any other administration done so much with so little. I recall that when this administration came into office, the price of crude oil, which provides for 80% of Nigeria's budgetary revenues and 95% of foreign exchange earning, dropped drastically, thus reducing the amount of resources available to the federal government. In spite of this, the administration has continued apace with massive infrastructure development.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sport like Emirates FA Cup, La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Sitting on the wrong end of the table, Arsenal welcome fellow strugglers Norwich City to the Emirates. Will the Gunners finally get their first Premier League points or goal? This Saturday, it's Arsenal versus Norwich City on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Welcome back to Nationwide. A new acting Chief Judge, Justice Raymond Zemena, has been sworn in to head the Enugu State Judiciary. Justice Ozemena replaces the just retired State Chief Judge Priscilla Emehelu. Susan Eze has the details.
I, Afod Raymond Ozemena, do solemnly declare that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria as acting judge of the Enugu State.
Justice Raymond Ozemena was sworn in as acting Chief Judge, Enugu State, following his confirmation by the National Judicial Council, NJC, as the most senior judge in the state after the just retired Chief Judge, Justice Priscilla Emehelu, grateful for the privilege to serve the state, particularly the judiciary. Justice Ozemena acknowledged that his predecessor performed well in office and urged the bar and the bench, as well as the entire judiciary staff, to join hands with him to improve on the legacies already on ground.
I have come to serve the state judiciary. I will do my best, all of you should join me, to make sure that everything is being done, it has done, remains intact. We shall do our best, however.
Congratulating the new acting chief judge, the state governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi expressed confidence that Justice Ozemena will bring his wealth of experience to bear in the discharge of his duties. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
The Enugu State Governor's Task Force on COVID-19 has embarked on a 5-day sensitization campaign and monitoring of citizens' compliance to safety protocols. Dominica Onya has details.
The task force team, led by its coordinator, paid an advocacy visit to the chief imam of Enugu Central Mosque, Asata, the Archbishop of Enugu Ecclesiastical Province Anglican Communion and Bishop of Enugu Diocese, and the chairman, Traditional Rulers Council of Enugu State, to remind people that coronavirus, especially the deadly Delta variant, is still around.
As we speak now, we have not seen any case. We don't want to let loose on our guards. We want to remind you to continue with all the safety protocols.
They promised to take his message to their people and ensure that they adhere to the preventive measures put in place.
The messages you have given me this morning will get to all the traditional rulers.
However, Bishop Chukwuma pointed out that the sensitization exercise should also be taken to the porous areas of spreading the virus, like motor parks, markets, and tricycle riders.
The people help those who help themselves. If you don't help yourself, it will be very difficult for you to be able to help yourself. It's important that everyone should know that God can only help you when you help yourself by being obedient to the protocol. All these things are safety measures.
Portable hand sanitizers, face masks, and copies of safety guidelines with pictures and illustrations are given to these leaders for their people. In Enugu, Dominica Onya, NTA News.
And that's a bit from here. It's now back to Lydia in Abuja for the rest of Nationwide.
Thank you, Mina. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has distributed sweet potato vines enriched with vitamin A to 600 farmers in Katsina to boost food security in the country. Shehu Adamu reports that the beneficiaries were also trained on the economic and nutritional value of the improved sweet potato vines.
Nigeria is one of the largest producers of sweet potato in sub-Saharan Africa, with annual production estimated at 3.46 million tons per year. Considering the economic importance of the crop, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development distributed improved variety of sweet potato vines enriched with vitamin A to 600 farmers, each from 14 selected states in Nigeria.
Move around the states, tell the farmers about the importance of this potato, most especially on this vitamin A component benefit that they can derive from it.
After training them, we want them to go back and train their members and make sure that this seed, this vine, reach all the farmers in the state.
So these vines now, it is the federal government that is coming in order to boost the production of orange flesh sweet potato.
The beneficiaries, who were drawn from different farmer groups, described the development as the first of its kind and pledged to upscale the knowledge acquired during the training.
I now know how additional value of potato.
Sweet potato occupies a global position as a source of food and industrial raw material, and is also identified to be the fourth root crop in Nigeria after cassava, yam, and cocoyam. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Sports update is next with Kene Emagodike.